They really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family because we only can take care of us? Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune in to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. Thursday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you want to hear more of today's real issues in the world of love. The doors of the Love Church are now open.
Here we go. You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. You are. There you go. You're muted again. What are you doing? You're muted.
That's weird.
What you doing, bro? What you doing?
I didn't
man?
even touch nothing. That's weird. But anyway, greetings, everyone, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
Good, man. What's up, fam? How y'all doing today on this daggone snowy Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, man?
Oh, that's what it's like. That's what it's like there?
Man, I mean, it's actually for this area, we actually made out pretty decent. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't. I think we got maybe 3 to 4 inches, but I know we got another storm coming in on tomorrow afternoon, and yeah, it's bad. But I know, back home they got hit real hard. East Coast.
Oh yeah. My family told me. Yeah, no.
Yeah, they
weren't going to work and everything.
Yeah, they the new Chicago. They the new Chicago.
Chicago. Right. Look, as long as we tampering with this, what do you call that thing? The it's the thing that they tamper with the weather. It's the name. I forget. You know what it's called? Somebody will tell me. It's just it's like something that there's been rumored that a lot of these weird weather is because we're tampering with. It's a term. It's on the tip of my tongue. I say it all the time.
Atmosphere?
No, you're close.
Climate change, global warming.
Global warming. That's what it is. Yeah. Because they're playing around with the global warming, that's why we're getting all of these weird residuals with weather. You know, one time the man got to put his hand in stuff, it just kind of goes against nature.
I mean, if you want to get real technical about it, we're the one that are responsible for all the stuff that's happening. We're the ones responsible for the world, in terms of the climate and everything else. We the ones. Yeah. We the ones. It's us.
Yeah.
Us is the problem. Us is the problem, and us is the answer.
Man. All right. So before we dive into today's show, let's talk about the obvious. This is the week that society has structured as Love Week.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about that.
Yeah, this is Love Week.
I forgot all about
that. And realistically, this is the time where people, quote unquote, let me say, either realize the love you do or do not have in your life. And to me, I have my opinions, but anyway, to me, I feel like I think I get the fact that commercialism said, listen, let's choose a day for lovers, right? And let's profit off of it. In short, so you figure all of the many things that stores put out and all kind of stuff surrounding Valentine's Day. But could you imagine if we evangelized a culture of Valentine's Day all year long, right? It's just a culture. Like it's a culture because think about it. We treat each other any kind of way or any comfortable way all year long. Okay. But then this one time a year, we're specifically sensitive to love. Specifically. And we are looking for what you're not doing, should do. What are you going to wow me with? Well, shouldn't I wow you all year round, right? I should wow you all. That should be our justification for remaining in one another's life. I'm just saying in the ideal world, we're wilding one another. But what we do is, listen, people, it's this thing, it's like whoever came up with it, they had to have thought to themselves, yes, Valentine's Day, but not everyone would have one, right? Not everybody has a Valentine. And so when it comes to that dynamic, what about that dynamic of people, right? Let's just be honest. So they got to, let's play it on out. Valentine's Day, here we come. Oh my God, look at this 18-karat picture frame of me and Boo. Oh my God, look at this, what he bought me, or vice versa, right? Or the man, he's showing off how fine she is. So it's like we have this thing with putting everything on display, right? When we're not good spaces. And sometimes we knowingly do this. And sometimes people feel like, well, I was just taking a picture. I didn't know everybody was sad. You know, that's fair, right? Maybe, you know, okay, you want to express your happiness, so be it, right? So I just feel like it causes a lot of angst in people, men and women. It's not just women or men. People feel a way because it is a pressured time of year to either put something on display, present something, do something, go where, you know, whatever the case is. And when everybody can't partake in it, it becomes an awkward silence of a day that some people are, quite frankly, they just wait for it to pass so they can just move on to the next day and go on with life because they're like, I don't want to deal with this. So, you know, it gets a little hairy. But like I said, what a beautiful world it would be if the way we thought about one day, we opened it up to the all year round, right? It would be, I think we would have more better and healthier relationships. But it's sad that we ignore the rest of the year. I could have treated you like crap all year round. And the next, are we going to my favorite steakhouse tomorrow? No.
Right.
I didn't take you yesterday. No, I'm just making an example. But the point is, that's the thing. And so, it's amazing to me that we look at it, that we go out and buy special things. And I went through all of this trouble to make sure you knew today that you make me happy. Oh, and look what I did. I went and bought all of this really nice lingerie. There should be lingerie in the closet already. But anyway, so I'm just saying, but that's what I mean. It's just like we do all these things, and it's, you know, I get it though. I don't want to, I'm neutral. It's like whatever floats the boat to be happy, so be it. I just feel like we just put a lot of emphasis in one space where it should be, period. That's just me. You know?
No, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, just to kind of like chime in on the beginning portion of what you just said in terms of this being one of the biggest commercial holidays, at least in the continental United States, if not the world. We're probably, let me rephrase it. Yeah, it's probably more or less here than it is anywhere else. That we celebrate this particular holiday with, you know, purchasing this, buying that, taking them out here, taking them out there, booking a room, getting a reservation, going to a dance. Yeah. It's definitely one of the more commercial holidays. I mean, if you think about it, though, if you go down the list, you know, you got Valentine's Day, then you got Mother's Day. I mean, Mother's Day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't even want to
Mother's Day to me. Mother's Day is, you know, to me, I wouldn't even. I mean, like I said, it's whatever. It's just, but Mother's Day, I could be like, okay, we all got here from our mothers.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So understand yourself.
Listen, but I'm gonna flip it. But you don't do that with the dads on Father's Day.
Hello.
Anyway, I'm not gonna go on that rabbit hole. I'm just saying.
Take your socks and your tie. But no.
maybe some aftershave. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
But we live in a capitalist country.
Yeah.
This is how we are able to, I guess, for whatever term, stimulate the economy. Okay, if you look at it from a big picture point of view, and I also agree that Valentine's Day should not be the only day that you celebrate the love in your life.
Yeah,
you absolutely should not be waiting for one day out of the year to tell the one that you love that you love them and that you do something special for them. That should be something that happens maybe not every day, but at least every other day or
Yeah,
every couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? That you say
yeah,
it to them, that you express it to them, that you do something for them. You know that you're having a regular dating life. I mean, particularly from a married man's point of view,
yeah,
I want to make sure that I am actively dating and courting my wife. That I
yeah.
continue to engage her in that way. That we don't lose the romance that started the relationship in the first place. And so
Yeah,
it's something that we should be doing on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing that we kind of mess up on. It doesn't cost a lot of money to tell somebody that you love them.
yeah,
Now, it's nothing wrong with buying a gift. It's
yeah,
nothing wrong with buying them something to as a token, as a signify as to the love that you feel for them. But more often than not, it's not about what you're giving to them in terms of a material thing. It's about the expression of how you feel. I would rather
mm,
know how you feel about me than for you to actually buy me something and there's no feeling behind it. I would
yeah,
rather have the emotion of what I mean to you in your life than to
yeah.
go through the motions and there be no significance to it whatsoever. And so that's
Mm,
where I'm at on the whole thing, man.
yeah, no,
I don't. Here's the thing, though. But I don't think there's anything wrong with Valentine's Day. Now,
no,
here's the thing, though, Charles. So a lot of single people
yeah.
they might have an issue because they think for themselves that they don't have anybody who is their boo. They can't get booed up for Valentine's Day. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Well, this is what I mean when I say it causes. I'm like I said, it's a wonderful holiday.
yeah.
It's just how do you justify it when everybody doesn't have a Valentine's? You understand what I'm saying? And so, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. So I'm not saying they have to have one. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, just like okay, when we observe Columbus Day or Martin Luther King Day, you have the right to observe that holiday, right? Whether it's not about whether you have something or you don't. It's a holiday. So if you want to partake and do something that day, you can. But on days like Valentine's Day, it's almost like a day of love and action day. It's supposed to be love and some action. So, and if you don't have the love, you can't take the action. So you just kind of sitting there like, oh, okay. So what I'm saying is, even for people in relationships or in, let's just say, marriage,
Yeah.
one spouse is saying, I wonder if he'll remember tomorrow's Valentine's Day. So it's anxiety. Then you got the relationship people that are not married, but they're committed. They're
Right.
saying, well, I wonder, what are they going to do? I need to feel special. Are they going to let me know today how they feel? So it's a lot of anxiety going on because it's
Yeah.
like, wow, like, do we have to really wrestle about something that's really, just to be honest, it's a beautiful day. But I would be honest, I would be more open to say, listen, let's select one day per month to be Valentine's Day. One day we can celebrate each other, one day a month.
Yeah.
To me, that would be amazing. One day a month, let's choose this to be National Our Day.
Okay.
National Our Day. Whatever we want to do each day a month, it's a dedicated time to celebrate your person, not just add up all of those. Because I'm going to be honest with you. One day is not going to surmise everything a person feels about you in one day.
True.
It's just not going to happen.
True.
I mean, your love is really the sum total of all of the days beforehand, right?
Yeah.
That came up to this moment. And
Yeah.
if you don't feel it in those days, it's not existent.
Right.
So my point is, we have to be realistic, because I was talking to someone about, I remember I had a conversation one time about Valentine's Day. I mean, we had a couple of shows back in the years, but the person was like, that is a Valentine's Day. This needs to be, this is a special day. And they were arguing over it. Wow. And so I said, what if, so look at it this way. Valentine's Day is something you really can do with or do without if you chose to. I said, but let's just say this. What if it was called National Booty Day? I was joking, but I was being honest. I was saying if it was National Booty Day, then I can see you being mad if you didn't have one.
Okay.
Just being honest, I can see you saying, I have a problem with this because why are you not going to celebrate? I do have one, celebrate me. But what about the one who don't? So my point is, a Valentine's Day is just a day we put together. We put this together, and here we go. All right, okay, it's commercial, it's romantic, it's sexy, it's great.
Right.
But is it really healthy to us sometimes? Sometimes, you know, I think a lot of people are damaged around this time of year, psychologically, emotionally, because they're good people, they're great potential spouses, potential people to be in a relationship, but for whatever reason, they're either single by choice, you know, so they say. I'll tell you, I will go into that one. They're single by default. They had a divorce, someone left or they left.
Right.
They're single because who comes to them they don't like, right? Or who they like don't pay them attention. So that makes us all back at square one. You're single. So and then you have the ones that are in relationships, right? That have a person. Well, let's just be honest. I think of it like this. If you're in a relationship, but you have a person, your focus and your thoughts should be on pleasing one another and empowering and making each other better.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship, but you're comparing your relationship to the relationship over there, what they have and don't have, you're not in a relationship. You got a person, but you're not settled. Your mind isn't settled because the reason you're comparing, because you somewhere in this feel like you have a lack. So you feel like what somebody else is getting over there is better than you. And what you got to understand, that other person is not dating you, right? So you can't expect a similar output from a situation that's different. If someone's not dating someone like you or someone like me, then we can't expect the same things that are happening in their relationships. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
I got what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. And you know what's interesting though, Toe, and, you know, watching different programs and things like that, and it almost feels like, particularly for Valentine's Day, that the singles feel especially single on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
I mean, just to the point where it's almost like a fight. If you walk up on somebody who's single, who may not necessarily have anybody in their life to celebrate Valentine's Day with, you know, there's this anxiety, as you said before, this anxiety that comes on you because you feel like you don't have anybody in your life to be able to celebrate Valentine's Day with. But and again, the significance of Valentine's Day should not necessarily be just about celebrating love on that particular day.
Yeah.
Because if you're with somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody, then Valentine's Day is whenever you pick it. Correct. It's not just in February, but it's every day if you want it to be every day. It's something, but here's the thing though, you have to engage in that. That's something that you have to participate in to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? And so, but at the same time, again, like I said before, I honestly don't feel like there's anything wrong with Valentine's Day. Now, I'm not necessarily a proponent of Valentine's Day, but I don't think there's anything wrong with celebrating it. You know what I'm saying? Again, being a married man in a relationship with my wife, we celebrate our love for each other as often as we possibly can. I think it's cool. I think it's fine. But here's the thing, though. And this is what I know about my wife in particular, and I can't speak for anybody else's, you know, wife or spouse or whatever like that she's not necessarily hung up on that kind of stuff. And the reason why she's not hung up on it is because she understands that our love is not regulated to one particular day. It's not just about the one day, but it's the day after that day, and 2 weeks after that day, and 5 months after that day. Is our love still as passionate and as fun and as enjoyable and as sturdy and as consistent and as dependable and as faithful and as peaceful as it ever has been? Absolutely. And so we don't need a day. Now, we can take the day. We'll absolutely take the day. That's just a bonus. That's icing on top. Really, if you really think about it, that's the cherry on top. But the real substance of our relationship is something that we experience and that we engage in every single day. Every time we see each other, there's a greeting, there's a hug, there's some affection that's shown. Every time we're with each other in the same room, we poking fun at each other. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We're messing with each other. But again, that's not something we don't save all of that just for one particular day.
Yeah.
Because here's the reality: if we did it like that, then the relationship would die. It would absolutely, it would suffocate, it would dry up, and it would just die. Because you need to have something flowing into that relationship on a daily basis. Just like you eat a meal, just like you eat maybe 2 or 3 meals out of a day, you know what I'm saying? You need to continue to feed that relationship every single day so it doesn't die. So for you to wait one day out of the year just
Yeah.
to celebrate the love that you should have been attending to every day, come on, man. That doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help anybody, you know. And it may be, if I'm, you know, we're gonna step into this. It may be the reason why you're single. Because
Wow.
you don't know how to practice the love every day. You don't know how
Wow.
to engage the love every day. You're waiting for one day. You're waiting for him to make the reservation. You're waiting for her to pick up the lingerie and show up in the room with a coat on her. And she unveils a coat and she got the lingerie on. No. Why
Yeah.
are you waiting for that one day? Why
Wow.
isn't this something that happens with you on a regular basis? Why aren't you deliberately making your love a celebration and a love feast every single day?
Wow. You know, listening to you talk, I say to myself, imagine how stronger relationships would be if the standard we hold up for one day, we did it all year round. And when I say standard, I'm only speaking as a man, but most women, when it comes to that day, if you don't move around as they deem, it is a roadblock. It's a problem. And so my point is, why do I have to meet your standards one time a year?
Okay.
So I should meet your standards 365.
Right.
That's how you get the best behavior out of a man or woman. Is you introduce your standards to them all year round.
All year round.
One day around, even the person who don't mean you no good can play with you for one day. Oh, I could just set aside some money and, we're going to go over here and do all these things. You're feeling good enough? Did you go to Victoria's Secret? All right, see you later. And then you go back to regular life and treating them like whatever, right? So the point is, if you strongly feel a way about one day, and you feel and you know in your mind how you don't want to be disregarded, you don't want to be not acknowledged, do that all year round. I guarantee your relationship will change.
Absolutely.
If you're just doing it one day, that's not enough, because you giving people a chance to put you within the scope of their sniper rifle and accommodate you accordingly for that one day. And then after that, let's go back to real life as we normally do. So my point is, you know, we got to rethink our ways about going about this. And like, you know, I know we're getting a little off the veering path of single. We're going to get back to it. But I couldn't not touch into this because this is the major week. Like, there is a lot of anxiety centered around, you know, Valentine's Day and all that stuff. So I get it. I just think we need to look at our positions on it and ask ourselves, does one day, that's a beautiful day. Let me not say Valentine's Day is a beautiful day.
Right.
But does one man-made day make or break my entire relationship, my entire marriage? Like, seriously, we need to think about that one day.
But Charles, let's be honest. Let's be honest, Charles. The reality is that a lot of relationships, whether married or not married or still going through the courting phase, a lot of those things are hinging on Valentine's Day. And if you don't do me right and treat me right and take me out to where I want to go, and I'm not trying to go to Cheesecake Factory, okay? I'm trying to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Then maybe we aren't worth it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe since you can't celebrate Valentine's Day the way I want to celebrate Valentine's Day, maybe
Yeah.
we're not worth it. And that's the reality though, because you have some people that are just completely fixated on that particular day. And for
Yeah.
them, that's significant. Again, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to knock Valentine's Day. I appreciate Valentine's
Yeah.
Day. But some people are just stuck right there. That if you don't do it on Valentine's Day, if you don't do it no time, if you don't do it on Valentine's Day, then I don't want to see you. I don't want no part. Let me find somebody who's gonna want to do it the way I want to do it on Valentine's Day. And if you ain't doing it on Valentine's Day, then kick rocks, beat it, scram.
On one of our other streaming mediums, the person says it matters. It matters when you don't do anything all year. Like if the person is not doing anything for them. But here's the kicker. Okay, now we got to cook. All right. So I look at it like this, and I always say this: if you are wise enough to be able to keep a tally, you need to also be honest enough in where you yourself is dropping the ball.
Okay.
If it's two people that work in a relationship or a marriage, you should, just like that, you want to be adorned and you want to be, made to feel special. You don't think that other person don't as well?
Yeah.
They want to feel like it's this. We have to stop this one-sided thing.
Right.
Women and men both cheat because of lack of feeling like they matter to one another. It's not just one sex cheating because he's not bringing me enough chocolates and flowers. No, the man steps out, and how many times, I'm just going to go be raw here for a minute. How many times have somebody in the atmosphere, a woman, we talk about men and women, woman cheated with a man that was either married or in a relationship? And I guarantee you the narrative is the same. Yeah, man, I'm about ready to get, I'm listen. I can't take no more. She's not taking care of me. I come home, she turned her back. I don't get none. She's not doing nothing. She don't take care of my needs. It's the same story. Wow. What else do you think a married or a guy in a relationship going to come to you and tell you, hey, you know what? I just got finished busting her back. Now I want to come over here and do this to you. You let me in? He ain't going to tell you that. Some of them that have arrived at a place of great transactional awareness, they're going to be like, look, this is what I got going on over here, but I like you, and this is what I like to do with you. You okay with that? Blah, 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 go on from that. But a lot of people don't do that. Most married men, most guys in relationships or stepping out, most of them are going to give you an excuse that you can live with because they assume that's what you want to hear. So they're going to tell you the worst of what the other person is not doing. And I guarantee you, if you had a camera or a listening device in their house, they're going to come home. Hey, baby, got some food? I love you. See you in a minute. It's not what you think. It's smoke and mirrors. Wow. It's just a justifiable statement to get what they want. Okay. And it's the same thing. Women do it in reverse. Okay. Women will tell men what they're not getting at home. And he's not doing this. Well, guess what? Sometimes the person might not be doing it. But are you trying? Are you talking about it? Or are you just acting on it? So you got to be honest with yourself and say, hey, what am I doing in these situations instead of making excuses and then going out here and doing these actions? Some people just want to cheat, flat out. They want an excuse and they justify themselves to go do what they want to do. They want extra affairs. They don't want just the one. They want the extra.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
That's crazy. So kind of go back to that statement. So you said the person said that this is the one day that they do
matter. Like the one day matters to the person who themselves feel they lacked all year round.
So my thing would be like this. If we haven't had any interactions like that, 12 months out of the year, or rather 11 months out of the year, and we're gonna literally we're both waiting until February to celebrate our love. That love is starved. That love is malnutrition. Okay, that love is just like a daggone kid in Cambodia with no food. It's
fly.
hungry. It's
Yeah, I'm
hungry.
telling you.
You know what I'm saying? And that, like I said at the beginning of this conversation, that love cannot survive.
But it
That
takes
love has to be cared for
yeah,
and
it takes two
tended
to nurture
to.
it.
That love
Yeah.
has to be fed all
Yeah.
year round. I wish to God I was in a relationship 11 months out of the year and she ain't said I love you not one time.
Oh,
And
wow.
she ain't shown me how much she loved me.
Wow.
What? Are you serious? Why
Wow.
would I even stay in something like that?
Wow.
Because here's the reality, y'all. If I'm going to be in a literally, and I'm gonna say it just like this: if I'm going to be in a loveless relationship, because that's what that is, that's a loveless relationship. I'm better off on my own.
Wow. Wow.
That's the reality, because you're not showing me no love. You're not trying to show me, how you feel about me. And but you want to show it on Valentine's Day, because here's the thing though, Charles. So if you look at it from this perspective, Valentine's Day is the day that you show your love to the world. But you can't show your love to the world in a public place if you haven't shown me your love in the private place.
Ooh.
It don't work like that.
Yeah.
You want a picture for the gram on Valentine's Day. We sitting up in a 5-star restaurant with candles on the table and a nice little lobster dinner or whatever like that, and violins playing in the background, or a jazz club or whatever like that. But that's that one day. That's that one day. And so that's the public acknowledgement of our love for each other.
Wow.
But we don't see each other every day.
Wow.
You don't say you love me. I don't say I love you. We're not here holding hands, caressing one another. We're not trying to take care of each other. We're not nurturing each other. We're not tending to each other. We're not engaging each other. And you think that's a relationship that I want to be in? Is that a relationship that you want to be in?
Wow.
The heck are we doing?
Wow.
Craziness, yo.
Yeah.
Why would you remain in a relationship where you are starved emotionally, where you are stifled, and you cannot express how you feel about somebody because they're not going to express how they feel about you? And so we hold on to what we got until one day.
Wow.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. Yet it's a reality. And a lot of us participate in this foolishness. Yeah. You're going to sit there and starve yourself for an entire year or 6 months or 3 weeks. Okay. Yeah. And just, they not, come on, man. I don't get a card. I don't get a text. You don't send me a picture. We don't have nothing happening except on that one day. Oh, we got to take a picture for the gram. Everybody hold on. Click, click.
Yeah.
So the whole world can see it. You want to do something in public that we don't do in private.
That's it. No, that's it right there.
That is hypocrisy at its best.
Yeah.
Because you're acting like you love me in a public forum. But when we get behind closed doors, when it's just me and you ain't got nothing to say to me about how you really feel about me, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. I'm gone. You ain't got to worry about this. You ain't got to worry about you ain't got to worry about this kid. I'm hitting the bricks. I'm going Van Moose. I'm going to kick rocks. I'm going to be gone. Because I would rather be single. I would rather be a single person than to have to live like that. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. I'm just saying.
You bringing some good points. It takes me to mind to think about how on these days it's almost like it's kind of National Love Recognition Day.
Yeah, that's exactly what
recognition is like. I know that we've been together all year and we done whatever we do or don't do all year we've done. Mm-hmm. But on this day, I need it to be publicly shown that this is how you feel.
Right.
Never mind about what's going on in the room for real.
Right.
But you need to show up on this day. That's the problem I have with it. It's like, I'm okay with it if it matches what we're doing all year round.
All year round.
I'm not okay with it if it doesn't match it.
Right, because it's a show. Yeah, we're literally putting on a show for everybody else to see. But here's the thing, though, Charles. I don't like it. That is a lie, because that's not my reality. My reality is not indicative of you showing me love on a regular basis. My reality does not reflect what the truth is, because you trying to show everybody else how much we are quote unquote in love and in love with each other. You trying to show the people on Facebook and the people on Instagram, the people on TikTok, all this, all this stuff that we do. We got the flowers and we got the candy, we got this and we got that. But on a regular day, on a Tuesday evening,
yes,
are we even talking to each other? Are we even relating to each other? Is there any sweetness, any affection that's there? But yet we can put all that to the side. I can put on my best suit. You know what I'm saying? You can put on your best dress, and we can go out here and we can show the world, baby.
We look good.
That real love.
Right.
Man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
All right. Well, while we in this vein, all right.
Yeah.
Let's talk single. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we had a panel of thousands of people sitting up across, we had a lot of men on one side, a lot of women on one side. Most of the time, I think, let's pick one area. If we were to say, why do you think you're single? We talked about, if we talk to a few guys, he may say something like, well, I need to make sure whoever I'm meeting, I'm going to get my ROI in it. What's in it for me? What they bring to the table. I'm just telling you the mindset. What's in it for me? What they bring to the table? Or how do I know she's not here just for my money? Right. The basics, right? You're going to have the women are probably going to say, y'all help me out, say what y'all say. They're probably going to say, oh, they play too many games. So they might got time for that. They doing this. He lying. He didn't say he was married. This one, if he just wanted sex, he just need to be honest. Give me a chance to choose. Don't lie. All those kind of things. Right. And so I say that to say we spend the better part of these engagements blaming the other side. Somebody's not ready. You should be ready. You too old. You this. All these things we come up with to justify why one or the other hasn't been chosen in a serious way. Yeah. But truth be told, a lot of people are single because they are not honest. And when I say they're not honest with what they really want. They're not honest with who they really are. And they're not honest to all things they're really open to. And I say this because a lot of people are single by way of title only, but they are not single physically. Physically, some of these people have more longevity relationships in the dark than people do in the light. They done been with a married woman or man for 5 and 10 years. They just can't call him my husband. He got a wife. She got a husband. Wow. He lived with his woman. She lived with her man, but I'm in love with her, right? Wow. So that right there disqualifies your own self from real relationship. Okay. Once you sign up for that. Then you got the people who, that ain't my type, really get on somewhere, please. So don't get me wrong. I get it with the aesthetics. I get attraction and how important it is. But it's not everything, right? It's not. It's not. When you live long enough or been around enough of what you think you like, you realize it's not everything. Right. It's not. Right? So it's just aesthetically, we get to being like, oh, I need this, that, and other. And then when you get it, you're like, not so much. Right. But it's like, so you gotta kind of weigh your pros and cons and be more open. And then the other reality of it is a lot of people are chasing behind someone who is not even looking back at you. You chasing, you curbing everybody else looking at you, everybody else liking you. Nope, I want this kind of person. And that kind of person don't think you measure up, but you want them, right? So right. Yeah, so to kind of like, I guess to segue into that, so there are a lot of people who are single for various different reasons and, based on the situations in their lives.
And they're using the single title or category, if you will, as a way to how can I put this in a very politically correct way? I guess to kind of to I don't want to say hoe around, but I guess hoe around. You know what I'm saying? And they find comfort in numbers. And what I mean by that is it's as if the singleness is something that they use to gather to themselves a a rotation of people that they deal with on a regular basis in order to, I guess, get their needs met instead of actually being single. Because in my mind, single means I'm not with anybody.
Oh, wow.
I'm not dealing with anybody. I'm not with anybody. Now, I might be trying to date somebody, and even in that, it's only going to be one person, as we all know. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm not claimed.
Right.
I'm not claimed.
But I guess nowadays people are saying that they're single when in fact they aren't single.
No.
All in an effort to gather to themselves, I guess, different people that may be able to meet different needs in their life. You know what I'm saying? And I just find that very and Charles stole my word, duplicitous.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's not being honest. It's not being true. And here's the thing, though, Charles, that they have to think about is that in all of their pretense and having all of these people around them, they're really kind of like depriving themselves of having that one person who could actually vibe with them. You know what I'm saying? Who could actually be with them and they can make a good couple. But because of the fact that they feel as though they can't, they want all of these other people around while still being single, it's like this. It goes like this. Why buy the cow when the milk is free? Basically meaning that if I can just if I can just get the milk for free, then I don't need the cow for whatever. And so the cow, you're getting the benefit without the commitment. That's what I'm trying to say. You get the benefit without the commitment. And a lot of us want to walk in that way. That's never a good way to walk because you're going to miss out on some things that you really need in your life.
Hey, we got 2 questions coming. How about you answer Marlena's and I'll try to tackle Maritza.
Okay, who you want me to go
back to back? You can go ahead first. Go ahead. Oh, let me put it there. Let me put Marlena's there.
Okay, so what's your opinion on a single person navigating through the Valentine's Day pressure? Lord have mercy, bless his name. So like I said earlier about the whole Valentine's Day thing in terms of it really kind of like highlighting those who are single. Yes, there is a lot of pressure that's there. Let's be honest. There is a lot of anxiety that's there because the single person is in this place, in this mindset of I don't have anybody to celebrate Valentine's Day with. And so that's the pressure that you deal with. I'm going to go this route with it. Again, it's all around. You're going to see it everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be at peace with your singleness. You know what's funny? Me and my wife, we had gone somewhere maybe a couple of weeks ago. Somebody's birthday party didn't work out. And so we went somewhere else and we had dinner. And we were having a conversation about being with each other or whatever like that. And one of the things I remember saying to her was the fact that this was before I actually found or had gotten with my wife, was the fact that one of the conversations that I had with God was the fact that I had to make peace with my singleness. So regardless of what holiday I might be in, whether it's Valentine's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, whatever that day is, I have to have peace with being single, which means my outside circumstances don't dictate my internal attitude. I'm going to be okay. I'm okay as a single person. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't really need anybody else to celebrate or validate me on Valentine's Day. I can celebrate me by myself.
Wow.
I can do that on my own. And when I was divorced, I went to movies. I went to dinner on my own and had a good time with me. I didn't, and that's not to say that the pressure and the anxiety of wanting to be with somebody was completely gone. No, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is I was at peace with being by myself.
Wow.
Now, part of that also plays into my whole personality type, that of an introvert. So I wasn't necessarily wanting to entertain a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I was cool with that. But at the same time, regardless of how introverted I was, I still wanted a companion. But I wasn't going to allow my desire for a companion make me desperate for something that I wasn't necessarily ready for. Wow. And so at this point in time in my life, I decided to be at peace. Marlene, I just want to say to you, sis, it's okay to be single. Celebrate your singleness. Find satisfaction in your singleness. It's cool. It's okay. It's okay to be single. And so just don't allow that pressure to push you into places and positions that you aren't necessarily wanting to be in. That's what I would say.
Only thing I would add to that at the end is to anyone in that same predicament or thinking about it, is you have to first change your outlook. And the outlook is on the day. And the thing that you could repeat to someone can repeat to themselves is today is not a day of self-esteem resuscitation.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of times that's how we look at it. It's like we measure our esteem as to how we are or are not esteemed on that day, right? So we allow that to take us into a subterranean place emotionally because we feel like we look at whether we are doted correctly or not on Valentine's Day is, well, why not me? What's wrong? Why can't I be, why can't I be embellished and spoiled and all these things? Why do I have to feel like I'm not special enough? And that's what we have to get out of our minds, because that's not what that day is about. It's a special day for people that are involved in relationships to choose to indulge in celebrating one another. It has nothing to do with whether someone is single or committed. I think once we remove that, we'll be all right.
Okay.
All right. So let's see what Marita says. If I can make a comment, I've noticed that when people are single for so long, we adapt to our ways that when someone comes along, they're not consistent because they're used to just going about their business and not picking up the phone or calling someone and taking time for that individual.
Okay.
I would say in a situation like this is this would sound like a person that's probably a little seasoned, right? We're a little older. You're not necessarily, this isn't like a 30 and 20-year-old mindset, but someone that's sound like someone is being set in their ways, right? When they're set in their ways, people, unfortunately, it goes from feeling like, let me run out of here and be consistent and be diligent. Instead of having that mindset, it turns into, well, I need to see a reason to be this way. Like, because I'm content like I am. I feed myself, I wash my clothes, I go do all of these things by myself. So if I'm inviting someone into that space, how will you complement my world? Like where can I see the value? So I think that's, people can get hung up there, but I'll be honest, it's not an excuse to not communicate, right? If you're choosing to date someone at whatever age, then you both have a responsibility to mutually communicate to a point that satisfies both parties, right? Whether that is but I will say this with Adam, I take it out of Adam's book, we don't read minds. So if somebody don't like text, say that. I know you text me, but I don't like it. I've heard people tell me that before. If you don't like the text message, I like the phone. I can respect that. Then I hear you, then that's fine. But don't not like it, but don't say anything about it when it's going on.
Right.
And then you feel like you're not getting the right kind of communication. And then you want to, get into all these things. And so at the end of the day, make sure the person who sees this deficit is also giving enough interest. Are you calling a lot? Are you texting? Are you letting the person also know that you're interested? Because what I do know is when we get to a certain age, Adam, we don't have a lot of room to feel like someone is rejecting our advances, right? After you get to a certain age, when somebody is acting like they ghosting you or not communicating, we quickly be like, oh, you know what? I don't have time for this. That person can get blocked and off my phone, all this kind of stuff. When really, if you like someone that you meet or you feel you could have something special with, you owe it to both of yourselves to give it a gallant effort. Don't quit until you said to yourself, I've given sufficient effort. Then do what you do. But if you know you haven't given the effort, can't really call it until you feel like you both given the effort, and for whatever reason, we just don't click. But I would think about it. What about you, Adam? What do you think?
So I have two things that came to my mind. Two things, and I'm gonna say it like this. I think, particularly at the beginning of the relationship, the beginning of the dating, that you need to establish the expectation. Like Charles has already said, we don't read minds. Men don't read minds. Women, they have intuition, but they don't necessarily read minds either. So you're not going to know what I'm thinking or even know what my expectations are until I actually say what they are. Hey, babe, can you text me when you get home? Hey, can you call me when you get a chance or whatever like that? If I don't establish that expectation, then I can't be disappointed when you don't meet that expectation. You know what I'm saying? That needs to be a discussion. That needs to be something that we share, that we say to each other. The other thing I would add to that is the fact that, especially at the beginning of a relationship, you're coming in, I don't know you, you don't know me. So we need to learn each other in that way. As we go along within those early days, those early weeks of the relationship, that we learn how to adjust and accommodate one another, that we make space for one another. I remember in dating Maria, there were some things that I had to accommodate. I had to adjust to. I mean, okay, yeah, we're plugging into each other, we're connected to each other, but our lives have been structured based on where we are on that particular day. So I'm a single man. I'm living like a bachelor. I'm not thinking about her in terms of her job and where she's going. It's not until I have a discussion with her and begin to deal with her that we can now make the adjustment for one another. She works retail. I work a 9 to 5. The hours don't always agree, which means I need to make an adjustment to accommodate her. What am I saying? I'm saying this. If you want communication, then establish that. And here's the thing, and I think you've already kind of hinted to it, Charles, is the fact that just don't wait for them to talk to you. You talk to them.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's all right to send a text to them. Now, here's the thing that I will say this. If they're not going to be responsive,
that's a whole nother thing. Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
If they're not going to holler back at you, and here's the thing. So don't, it's, and I'm trying to do this in the right way. I don't, because of your life and the way that your life is structured, you may not necessarily be able to call me right back. You might not necessarily be able to text me right back. You know what I'm saying? But after maybe a few hours, I'll even say the next day.
Like really?
I'll give you 24 hours. I will give you 24 hours to respond to the text that we call. I'm going to be reasonable. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. After 24 hours, it's going to make me think, well, maybe they're not interested in like that. And that's the reality, which means if they're not interested in me like that, maybe I need to move on. See, either you're going to be interested in me and you're going to want to talk to me and you're going to want to respond to me, or you're not. Wow. That's cool. That's all right. That's cool. Wow. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah. But and another thing I think why a lot of people are single, and I'm just doing this off of the data of what I see statistically myself or have been around, is we have a lot of people, let's write this down. A lot of people say, I want the fine dining experience for two. I'm talking about from a relationship standpoint. But what they really enjoy is the buffet experience. They say they want the fine dining, but they really like the buffet. And so you gotta, that honesty piece is critical to where you are, right? To where you be in these relationships. And if you're telling a person you want fine dining and the person is trying to give you fine dining, but then you got all this internal lust and desire for the buffet, you in the wrong line, right? But you got to be honest with yourself. Don't fool yourself into thinking that's where you want to go and be when it's not really what you want to do. You really want to be out here sampling and going over here and seeing how this person is and all this. Then don't pretend the relationship, because what you're doing is taking the space of somebody who does.
Okay.
You're in the space of somebody who does want that life. And if you just want to keep saying you do, but you really don't, you really want to be over here doing this, that, and the other, and it doesn't help. And like you said, and then we have the dynamic of don't drop those stones now, okay? When people get divorced, right? At one point or another, what I find to be interesting is the person who, when I've come across people in life in the past who have left the marriage themselves, they want marriage again badly. And in my mind, I'll be saying, well, you was in it. You had a marriage to me. I'm just saying to me. That's what I'm just on the outside looking in. Saying it meant that much to you. Why did you walk away from it? Did you really exhaust all your efforts? What did you do to upheave the relationship? What did you do? Now, don't come over here telling me they didn't treat me right. No, there's two sides. Right. What did you do? What did you add to it? If the other person was sitting there right next to you saying, yeah, tell her what you did, could you look straight face and give the answer, right? Sometimes we got to be honest. And so it just amazes me sometimes how a person will come out of it. You're right there in it. You had it. Then you said, I ain't signed up for this. You went over there. Then you want the next person to be Johnny on the spot. It's amazing to me. But that's a lot of what's out here nowadays. And that's men and women. They come out of things and they're ready, but they were where they want to be. But they're ready to go and do, whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to go back to the whole communication aspect. I want to add this last thing, and then I'm going to talk about what you just said, because that was a little crazy.
Okay.
That was crazy. Here's the last thing I wanted to talk about, the whole communication thing. And I think it's something that you need to establish early on within the relationship. Have an honest, transparent conversation about this. Is how do you want to be communicated to? I think we take it for granted in terms of, we have this expectation that when I send a text that I'm going to get an immediate response. But they might not necessarily think that. They may think, I'm going to respond. I might not respond until some hours later. But if we have not discussed how we're going to communicate to each other, if there's not an established behavior or pattern to our communication with one another, then we're kind of assuming some things.
That's good.
And when you assume some things, you know what happens when you assume some things. I'm just saying. So in order to head that off, in order to nip that in the bud, let's establish how we want to communicate to each other. So if I send you to respond, do you want an immediate response, or do I have some time to be able to respond to what you said or what you had? Or is a response even necessary? Sometimes when a text is sent, depending on what the text is, maybe a response is not necessarily necessary. But if we don't communicate that, then how do we know that? Again, not mind readers, not fortune tellers, not tea leaf readers. Okay, we have to open up our mouths, and we have to clearly communicate this information to one another.
Yeah, wow.
So, Charles, about this whole,
I knew it.
Bro, bro. Let me
That's
just
just my opinion. I just be thinking to
No,
myself.
I know
like,
it was just your opinion. I know.
I just see it a lot, and I be like, I just remember many years of just maybe dating someone that was divorced, and they were like, I'd be like, what happened? Oh, shit, I left, and so I'd be like, okay, and then they're like gung ho about you playing games, you're not ready. Well, did I have to be ready? You already ready.
Right.
Do I have to be ready? You already ready, you weren't ready.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know.
And I always mess with my wife about this, and she gonna get me. She probably, yeah, I'm about to be in trouble. But anyway, I'm gonna tell it anyway. So I remember having a conversation with her about, marriage and stuff like that, and whether or not she asked me if I wanted to be married again. I was like, yeah, sure. When it was good, it was
back in the day, or what do you mean? Oh, recently.
Yeah, recently. No, not recently. I mean, this when we first started dating. Those first couple of months, we had those conversations, and one of the conversations we had was whether or not I wanted to be married again. And I said, yeah, I absolutely wanted to be married again because when it was good, it was good. I liked having somebody in my life to share my life with. I didn't want to live my life or the rest of my life just plotting along by myself. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have somebody that I could be committed to, okay? Because that's a part of who I am as a person. So the question I posed to her is, I said, well, do you want to be married again?
I remember this, I believe.
And she was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't need to be married again. I'm all right. I got, I'm okay. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right. And so and so she didn't want to be married again because her experience in being married made her sour to the idea of marriage again. And often a lot of our experiences in this life have a way of coloring how we see something.
Wow.
They have a way of flavoring it. And it's not always the best taste in your mouth that's left after you have been through something that has been traumatic or damaging or injuring. And so in my dating her, I wasn't necessarily doing this on purpose. It's just who I am as a person. In my dating her, I wanted to show her this is what a real relationship looks like.
Yeah.
This is what real love looks like. This is what a committed relationship looks like. And I wasn't necessarily maybe I was a little bit. I wasn't necessarily trying to make her marry me, but I was trying to show her whatever. I was trying to show her this is the possibility of what it could be. This is what the potentiality of this thing is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so the joke that I like to say to her, and she gonna get again, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. I said the joke is she said she didn't want to get married to me, but it was really reverse psychology that she used because she really did want to get married. So she said no.
Yeah. But Adam, I remember something very unique that you had said back then.
Okay.
I'll go around and hover on this one.
Okay.
So I remember you saying, so let's just say back in those days, there was a specific offer made to you back in those days. Like, just follow me.
Okay.
On a particular way for you all to advance. Put it that way. You'll follow me.
Okay.
And then you in turn said, if I'm not mistaken, well, if we can do this, we can do that. Meaning the marriage part.
Yeah.
I believe after you made that statement, that's when everything shifted. Like after I remember when you said it, you came home and you told me, and then from that point on, it shifted. And I was like, well, sometimes it sits well when the man sets the preface and the tone of where we're going.
Well, yeah.
So it was like, in a way, because you could have said, all right, and took took the practice route, if you get my drift. You could have said, all right, took the back, but you said, no, if this, we can do this. That was unique.
Here's the thing, though, and I want everybody to kind of take a piece of this and take it home with you. I think that we all have the agency to be able to determine how our relationships are going to be, whether or not if you're going to accept something or reject something. Because I'm only going to do what you allow me to do. What you tell me about you is what I'm going to operate off of. If you tell me false information, then that's all the information that I have. That's the only way I can go. That's the only way that I can deal with you. But when you tell me the truth in terms of you accepting or rejecting something, then I operate off of that. I think a lot of us are in situations where we have not said, this is what I want definitively, and ain't going to be no other way other than that.
That's it.
But because we've allowed ourselves to compromise ourselves, if you will, and we have lowered ourselves to accept whatever that is, then the person's go, well, they're willing to accept it. I'm willing to give it. That's all you're going to get. You got to expect more because you're worth more. And you should expect more for yourself. If I'm going to give you that, then that's what it's going to be. But if I'm not willing to accept that, then that means I got to do something differently. You know what I'm saying? And even with, with my wife, you know what I'm saying? Some things you're willing to say, hey, okay, that's cool. But other things you're saying, no, that ain't cool. Well, let's sit down, let's come to the negotiation table and let's talk about this.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Let's have a conversation about what this is and what this means so that we can move forward in our relationship with one another. And that's how I actually see it.
Yeah. And so just to tap off on what I saw some Ritz wrote, and I thought I had a thought. And so my thought is there are a lot of people who probably can echo her sentiments in terms of whatever experience they've had in life.
Yeah.
But I always say this, and I'm only saying this from a man's point, and I'm sure women could echo it from the other side. It's been my experience that men learn to love women according to how women love themselves.
Okay.
If you don't love yourself, or if it appears that you don't love yourself, guess what they're going to do? March all up and down your heart.
Yeah. Okay.
When you love yourself, or when you show the man that love already exists, even though I want it, it's already here, it causes him to have to change his way of dealing with you.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is somebody who recognizes who they are. And because they recognize who they are, I can't just run all rough shop all through here and do whatever I want to them emotionally, physically, whatever. I need to act accordingly and move by standard. And so that happens when women or men, vice versa, we give those people the blueprint on how to treat us. So like you said, when people come around you, you ever dated somebody and you go around their family and everybody's like, oh, Adam, it's like, well, dang, everybody love him. So that tells the other person you're loved, you're lovable, and it makes them change their approach. That's why when we allow people to isolate us and say, you don't need to go around your family, stay here with me, that's the person who really don't want to discover your love. They don't want you to recognize it.
Right.
So they keep you hidden. Yeah. But the point is, situations like that, when I think about that, it's, I have been in, I'm not going to say throughout my life, I've definitely experienced love and have love, but I experienced times in life where I felt like the opposite side wasn't measuring up of what I was giving.
Okay.
I felt like I was giving something and the other side wasn't matching it. And then it just got me to a stalemate place where I was just like, and you kind of try to figure out life as you do through that. But I can concur with her on that. But the point I'm just saying is what I said what I said initially, because I learned is that if I'm not exuding what I'm expecting, then the fault starts with me.
Right.
I have to exude what I expect. And if I don't exude it, you can't expect a stranger to give you the diagram to your heart.
Right.
It's your heart. You
Right.
know it better than anybody. So
Right.
it's up to you to, to do that. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, again, like I said before, I think it's important that we, before we even look at anybody else, that you find value within yourself, that you find worth within yourself. Because when you do that, you're not going to let anybody else come along to depreciate what your value actually is. And I think it's important that you understand what your value is, so that when somebody else comes into your life, that they understand how much you are worth, and they don't give you a penny less than that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think, again, we have settled for things.
Yeah.
We have accepted things that are below our market value.
Wow.
But when I really realize and understand the worth of who I am, the financial evaluation of what I bring to the table, then I'm not going to accept anything less than that.
Wow.
I'm not. And that's just the way it is. So it goes back to my other point about being single. And again, this was my conversation with God, that if I don't find anybody else that understands my value, if I don't find anybody else that is able to assess and appraise my true value, then I have to be satisfied being single. Because to settle for anything less than that is robbing myself of what I'm actually worth. Wow. And it's not an easy truth to accept. I understand what I'm saying here. It's not an easy truth to accept, because when I had to really come to grips with that, I realized what I was saying, that I might be consigning myself to a life of singlehood for the rest of my life. And I had to make peace with that. And that's not an easy thing to do.
No,
you know what I'm saying? But the reality is that I knew what my worth was. And I wasn't going to sell it. I wasn't going to offer it for a penny less than what it actually was. And I think a lot of us should determine to take that stand. It's not an easy stand to take, I'm going to tell you right now. But I guarantee you, brothers, sisters, it's worth it. It's worth it when you actually find somebody who is willing to give you the value that you're actually worth. That it's not just about Valentine's Day, but it's about every day of the year that we celebrate the love that we have for one another, because we have found the value and the worth in each other. And that's
good. Look, I remember, like, for me, this, when you were talking, when you brought up what you brought up about what you say about our own market value.
Yeah.
So I think about how, like, let's just say if I go in my favorite store, or whether it's a Neiman's or whatever it is, I always, and although I can enjoy everything on the racks, I enjoy going to the clearance section, right? I just enjoy, because to me, I find gems in there that they think should be discontinued or whatever.
Right.
So what I thought about was, imagine someone coming into your life and seeing you with the red tag, assuming you're on clearance.
Wow.
That's why it's important to maintain your value, right? Because when you don't, there's no shortage of people in line ready to take off the racks the thing that they know is marked way below its value. Right? And so that happens in real life. People will show up, I remember that used to be 14 grand. So you mean tell me it's over here for 900? I'll take it. So that's how people see you. Everybody know a man or a woman who tried to get at them at some point in their life when they were at their best.
Yeah.
That you could say, I was living it up. And then you saw that same person 18 years ago, and maybe things happen to you, life happening now. You're like, we can have a drink. Why now? How come now? 10 years ago when I wanted to go to where you did it.
Right. Couldn't find you.
Yes. But no, that happens though. We go on clearance and we don't even realize it. And sometimes people around you don't even tell you, are you marked down? What's going on? I see tags on you. But no, you gotta know yourself. I'm living my life at a point where I'm commanding fair value cost for me.
Yeah.
I'm not walking around here on clearance. And people know when you're on clearance because somebody's going to say, how do they know? Your behavior tells them. Your yeses tell you. Your lack of no tells them.
Okay.
Your overly adaptability and acceptance tells them you're on clearance. Other than that, you're going to get some excuse. You're going to when you're not on clearance, you cause people to dig deep in their emotional pockets and think whether they have enough to pay for you. If you don't, they're gonna come to you with a couple of bucks. There you go. All right, throw anything at you, and there you are. Right. So it just depends.
Yeah, real talk, man. Real talk.
All right. Well, Dion said some people put themselves on clearance. That's the truth.
That's
right?
true.
That's the truth.
I was just thinking about that. I was thinking about, and I'm gonna say this real quick so we can go.
Okay.
I was how you find things on the clearance rack and it's been put there. But here's the thing, though, and I want to encourage somebody with this, that the fact that even though you have put yourself on the clearance rack, it does not take away from your value. You still have quality. Okay, so it's a Versace on the clearance rack, but it still has its value.
It's still a valuable thing.
It still has inherent value. What you need is to have somebody recognize what your value is. So when I walk into the store and I see it on the value and I see it on the clearance rack, I go, "Ooh, this is a good price, but it's actually worth more than this." Which means I'm going to treat this better than what they priced it at. You priced yourself below market value. But I'm going to treat you at market value.
I see, because I know that you are. Yeah,
I recognize the value that I have. And so many of us have low self-esteem, have low opinion of ourselves. Oh my God, I feel God right here. But the reality is you are still worth more than that price tag. And I'm going to treat you what you're absolutely worth on today. And I'm done.
Yeah, no, that's it. Look, that's why I be over in that section, because I know the good stuff in there. Yeah. Somebody else misappropriated the price because I know it's valuable. I'm not going to take it on if it's not valuable. And so
listen. So when you find something of value like that, you don't throw it in the washing machine. You don't throw it in the dryer. What do? You send it to the cleaners because it's valuable. It needs
white glove treatment.
Yes, with that right there. That's good right there.
It needs white glove.
Yeah,
don't put no smudges.
No.
This is precious cargo.
This ain't wash and tumble. No. This got to go to the cleaners. This is good stuff. This is quality stuff right here. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Sometimes that's what you got to do with people, because some people are just broken like that. Some people are just broken and damaged like that, fractured like that. I see your fractures, but I'm gonna treat you good.
I'm gonna show you your value. I'm gonna show you your value. I'm gonna show you in the mirror. Let me show you what you really want.
Yeah. Okay, I'm done. I'm back.
All right. That's why I want to preach. All right.
Hang on. I'm gonna let that go. That's good right there, though. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but it takes. But guess what? To get to the point to see someone to the point that you care enough to show them their reflection, you literally have to care enough. Yeah. You have to care enough to put it in and to say, you know what, I know because everybody that shows up on your doorstep doesn't show up out of the box ready to go. Right. People are broken. They've been through things. They've been through hurt, pain, divorce, all kinds of things, the abuse. So when they show up, it doesn't mean the person is not potentially your person, but it does mean, listen, if you really value this, what are you willing to put in? What kind of work are you willing to put in to help it mend it to where it needs to be?
Yeah. Real talk.
Because whether we know it or not, even when someone broken shows up, or essentially broken, because they could be healed, but there's something we need from them as well. They need us. We need them. The two of you have to be humble enough to recognize that need and grow from there. That's all.
Yeah. Real talk.
All right, sir. Well, guess what? Thanks everybody for tuning in today to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio, as we try to talk a little bit on Seriously Single. Basically, what we were saying is it a sentence or is it a call for change? And so, no, I don't think it's primarily a sentence. Do I think everybody in life is probably meant to be married? I don't know. That's kind of questionable. But I do know we can always evolve and become better versions of ourselves. I do know that. So to me, the more buffed and shinier we allow our lights to be, the more apt we are to draw the right people to us. When you live life dusty and you allow yourself to just, go undetected, you can't get mad when no one sees you or notices who you are. You have to shine yourself to be, like you said, when they're doing mining in the mountains, when they find the diamonds, even though it is in the rock, it's still the light is shining through because it's precious stone. So, you got to be who you are in whatever state that you're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Well, next week, see you guys. Next week, we'll probably go back to 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Unless you guys see an argument for 6 o'clock or so, just say so. But if not, we'll go back to 4:30 Central Standard. Look at Adam. Oh, yeah, 4:30. Anyway, no, we're just kidding. We'll definitely see
We can have
guys.
a conversation after the show. If you want to play games.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, next week, 4:30 Central Standard Time, we will see you guys soon. And have a great weekend. And don't try to stress out too much over the weekend, please.
Yeah.
It's not that serious. But anyway, all right. Peace. Maybe it don't want to be peace.
You know we're still live, right? You know we're still live.
We always do this. This is what we do.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so people, all right.
Talk about booty calls now. Is that what you about to talk about? Booty calls? Valentine's Day booty calls?
I mean, if you don't want to be single, I can tell you the blueprint how to turn it over immediately. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Well, listen, again, I mean, there is no necessarily textbook thing to I guess satisfying singleness. Mm-hmm. It's an inside job. Mm-hmm. Each person has to say to themselves, how am I showing up? And that's really all you can do, because you can't control what the other person does or what the other people see, but you can control how you show up. And I think if we're comfortable with the way we show up, wherever we are and whenever the time arises, then when it's right, it'll be right. And you just have to, once the person comes, then it just becomes you being able to vet the situation to make sure it is right. That's all. Go ahead, Mr. Poole. I know you got something to say.
I don't have nothing to say.
Yeah, that's right. We need to get T-shirts. I only need one. I know. Anyway.
Hey, you know what? And they would sell. Don't play with it. It would absolutely
be a hit today, Adam. Just get a shirt to say I only need one.
I only need one.
Like that. And have a man on one side, half, and half is a woman. That'll be good. That'll blow up. Remember, celebrate Valentine's Day one time a month with the person you love.
But you ain't got nobody. I'm not doing all that.
Oh, let's see, Maria. But yeah, he got. Oh, really, Adam? No, but
right.
If you have a person, and listen, even if you are dating, but you feel like it's going somewhere, have a special date day a month. You can be creative. That shows a lot. But I'm telling you, I just think if we start doing this Yes, Valentine's Day will be there, but it won't seem like such a monumental event when you are doing this all alone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Adam said, I'll second that. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone, and thanks for you all for tuning in all the time and supporting us. We appreciate this, and much love to everybody. All righty. Let me get off of here because somebody just looking like they just ready to go. So let me just end the stream.
We've been on here for an hour, almost an hour.